All right, guys, we're gonna take a deep dive into mindset. Now, why does mindset matter when it comes to safety, protection, and security? It's very simple. Your ability to stay calm under stress. Look, no good decisions are made when you are stressed out and you're letting that stress impact and affect the way in which you are perceiving, managing, and negotiating a situation that can be potentially threatening or is something where it's life or death, right? It's a very, very chaotic, it's very scary, it's very nerve-wracking. But we have to do certain things to make sure that we are maintaining clarity of mind so we can react and respond appropriately. This is what takes us back to the importance of quality and depth. Quality of intelligence and depth of skill set. The more confidence you have in knowing what to do, the calmer you're gonna be because it's gonna be a default. You're gonna have programmed and absolutely know what the next steps are without being caught up in a frantic mad dash. Okay, so a fun fact that I want you guys to kind of hold on to because we're gonna use this to our advantage. So the human brain, any of us, any given day, will produce 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts, right? Per day. All right? That's a lot of thinking. That's a lot of stuff that's going on in between our two ears, okay? Now, of those 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts, 90% of those thoughts are the same thoughts you had yesterday. The brain's kind of funny like that. It repeats things over and over again. This is why safety, security, and protection has to become habitual. You make it part of your everyday life, so then it just becomes part of that 90% that repeats itself. So it's push button. You know exactly what to do. You know how a threat assessment works. You understand the skills and tools that are needed to achieve being safe, okay? So one of the things that we really want to take time to do every single day is build up the confidence of what to look for in a potential threat. Again, there's a difference between preparation and paranoia. I want you to be prepared. I don't want you to be paranoid. I want you to enjoy your life. I want you to live every day to the fullest, but don't get caught up in the woulda, coulda, shoulda. Have a plan, have the right skills, have the right tools. Now, how do we keep ourselves calm in a state of stress? This is where breathing very, very much matters. All right, so I'm gonna give you guys a tool that I want you to start doing every single day, okay? And that tool is called box breathing, B-O-X breathing, box breathing, okay? Now, what is box breathing? Well, box breathing says this. It says, when you start to feel like you are getting into a state of stress, and it could be about anything, okay? I want you to inhale for 4 seconds. So take a deep breath in for 4 seconds. Now, after 4 seconds, I want you to hold that breath for 7 seconds. Just for 7 seconds. And then I want you to exhale that breath for 8 seconds, right? So breathe in for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. Do that 3 times, okay? Now, what ends up happening? Well, when we slow our breathing down, we calm the way in which our brains are firing neurons off, how fast it's processing information, and it gives us an opportunity to reflect on what we should be doing, what we know is right to do in a situation versus what our impulses are telling us to do. I can tell you in a life or death situation, the quality of decisions that you make will absolutely depict the outcome of what it is that you're dealing with. So you have to give yourself the opportunity to make a quality decision when the moments, the seconds, and the milliseconds matter the most, but you have to know how to breathe through stress. As you're dealing with those environments, as you're dealing with those potential threats, you have to stay calm. But that all boils down to the choices you are making in your mindset. Look, we live in a time where information travels very, very fast. You get onto your phone, you have social media feeds, and things are firing off at a very, very fast pace. So encouraging yourself to slow down and breathe and adopt the right mindset is very important because there is such a thing as an improper mindset when it comes to safety and security. What do I mean by that? Well, if we start to get into a mindset of overreaction, all right, what happens when we overreact, right? What is it? Well, what ends up happening is mistakes are made. Mistakes where people get hurt. Mistakes where you can get hurt. Mistakes where other people that you love and care about can get hurt. So you have to equip yourself with the right tools, the right ability, and the right sense of confidence to make the right decisions. But if you do not have the proper intelligence and you don't have the right skill sets, it's going to be very difficult to achieve. So we default back to what? Our 4-7-8, right? But 4-7-8 is only as good as the amount of practice you have done with the mindset that's needed, with the tools that'll allow you to achieve safety and security. Now, number 2, and this one's very, very important, right? Don't go looking for trouble, right? We want to avoid trouble. My years working as a bodyguard and an anti-kidnapping specialist taught me the importance of threat avoidance. You want to avoid threats. You do not want to meet them head on, right? There is a time and a place where you have to deal with bad things. The whole point of this is to keep you out of trouble. Let's stay away from potentially conflictual types of interactions and challenges. We want to keep you away, that way you can stay safe, okay? So, defensive measures. Now, defensive measures matter when it comes to your mindset. Why? Because when you're in a position and you're in a situation where there is a security threat, you've got to make sure that you know what to look for. And this goes back to what? The big tool, threat assessments. You assess for what the threats are. You have the right plan of action. You cannot remember what that right plan of action is if you're not thinking clearly. So take the time to breathe. Give yourself that moment, that opportunity to take a step back and say, okay, I know what my stress response system is telling me right now. Fight, flight, or freeze. But I also know that there's another response that's trained and conditioned that will lead to a productive outcome. And that all falls back to the quality and depth of preparation that you have in dealing with that security threat. Remember, the whole goal is threat avoidance, being situationally aware and knowing that there may be trouble before trouble arises and having the right plan of action. And then if something does happen, staying calm, control your mind, control your body so you can find the right solution to getting out of trouble. All right, great discussion today, guys. So remember, mindset matters. This thing in between your ears has a massive amount of power when it comes to safety, security, and protection. So give yourself the opportunity to conduct that box breathing. The inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. Do not forget your threat assessments. Do not forget the fact that you're not looking for issues or problems. You're trying to avoid them. But your ability to stay calm under stress will always depict the quality of outcome of that interaction. But the whole purpose and intent of having a sound understanding of safety and security is to avoid threats in the first place. So you have to practice those threat assessments, those 5 W's, and also understanding what potential threats are and the skill sets and the depth of skill that you have to avoid them and deal with them. All right, we'll see you in the next module. Thank you guys so much.